And imagine from her jhana, he again review this. This is reviewing knowledge as well as vipassana also. Okay, no question? Okay, let us stop today. Tomorrow we will continue. If you want to practice vipassana, you should try to understand these 16 types of knowledge. No? Number one, the knowledge of defining mentality and materiality. Nama Rupa Paricheta Jnana. Number two, the knowledge of discerning cause and condition. Vichya Parigraha Jnana. Number three, the knowledge of comprehension. Samasana Jnana. Number four, the knowledge of rise and fall. Udyabhya Jnana. Number five, the knowledge of dissolution. Bhanga Jnana. Number six, the knowledge of appearance as Tara. Kaya Jnana. Number seven, the knowledge of danger. Adinawa Jnana. There may be up. So you should put above a long text. Adinawa Jnana. Number eight, the knowledge of dispassion or disenchantment. That's disenchantment. Devija Jnana. Number nine, the knowledge of desire for deliverance. Mochitu Kamyata Jnana. Number 10, the knowledge of reviewing the three characteristics. Patisankha Jnana. Number 12, the knowledge of conformity. Nuloma Jnana. Number 13, the knowledge of change of lineage. Kutrabu Jnana. Number 14, the path knowledge. Magga Jnana. Number 15, the fruition knowledge. Phala Jnana. And number 16, the knowledge of reflection upon path knowledge, fruition knowledge. 3, Nibbana 4, the defilements which have been destroyed. And number 5, the defilements which have not yet been destroyed. Vichya Vakana Jnana. So, while practicing vipassana, you must try to understand these 16 types of knowledge. You must practice systematically according to this procedure. Then there is another important thing. The three kinds of full understanding on page 26. There are three kinds of mundane full understanding. Number one, full understanding as the no yata pranya. Number two, full understanding as investigation, sirana pranya. And number three, full understanding as abandoning, pahana pranya. With reference to which it was said, understanding that is direct knowledge is knowledge in the sense of being known. Understanding that is full understanding is knowledge in the sense of investigating. See, understanding that is abandoning is knowledge in the sense of giving up. At this point, the meditator must first try to discern the characteristic function, manifestation, and proximate cause of every materiality in every mentality and their causes. For example, he must thus try to see materiality, rupa, as the characteristic of constantly changing in different ways, rupana. Feeling has the characteristic of being felt, etc. This type of contemplation is called full understanding as the known. This is the knowledge of defining mentality and materiality. Nama, Rupa, Paricheta, Jnana, and the knowledge of discerning cause and condition, Titya, Parika, Jnana. See these 3 types of knowledge, page 25 and 26. The meditator then must contemplate those mentality and materiality and their causes as impermanent nature, suffering, dukkha, and non-self anatta. For example, materiality is impermanent, feeling is impermanent, etc. This type of contemplation is called full understanding as investigation. This is the knowledge of comprehension, samatana jnana, and the knowledge of rise and fall, udyabhya jnana. See the 16 types of knowledge, page 25, 26. The meditator must not try to see only the dissolution or passing away of those mentality and materiality in their causes. He must try to contemplate them as impermanent, suffering, non-self. This type of contemplation abandons the perception of permanence, etc. This understanding is called full understanding as abandoning. See from the knowledge of dissolution, number 5. Bringa jnana up to the knowledge of conformity, number 12. Anuloma jnana. So see the 60 types of knowledge, page 25 and 26. The plane of full understanding as the know extends from the elimination of the formations up to the discernment of cause and condition. For in this interval, the penetration of the specific characteristics of phenomena, that is, mentality and materiality and their causes, predominates. See number 1 and 2 knowledges. The plane of full understanding as investigation extends from comprehension by groups up to contemplation of rise and fall. For in this interval, the penetration of the general characteristics, impermanent, suffering, and non-self predominates. See number 3 and number 4 knowledges. The plane of full understanding as abandoning extends from the contemplation of dissolution onwards. For from there onwards, the several contemplations that effect the abandoning of the perception of permanence, etc. predominate. Thus, number 1, contemplating formations as impermanent, a meditator abandons the perception of permanence. Number 2, contemplating them as painful, he abandons the perception of pleasure. Number 3, contemplating them as not self, he abandons the perception of self. Number 4, because of contemplating in this way, the meditator relinquishes attachment. And number 5, because of dispassionate, so he abandons diligence. Number 6, when attachment fades away, he abandons greed. Number 7, because of the cessation of greed, he abandons ignorance and craving, the beginning links of dependent origination. Number 8, relinquishing ignorance and craving, he abandons grasping, that is clinging. full understanding Sutta, Abhijnana Sutta. I want to explain this Sutta only. Because of this reason, I am trying to begin with these 60 types of knowledge and 3 types of full understanding. For this reason, please read. Because without directly knowing and full understanding the all, mentality, materiality, and their causes, without developing this passion towards it, mentality, materiality, and their causes, and abandoning it, mentality, materiality, and their causes, one is incapable of destroying suffering. That is, he cannot escape from the round of rebirth and he cannot realize Nirvana. Because by directly knowing and fully understanding the all, mentality, materiality, and their causes, by developing this passion towards it, mentality, materiality, and their causes, and abandoning it, mentality, materiality, and their causes, one is capable of destroying suffering. So number one, because without directly knowing, this is referring full understanding as the known Nyata Prajna. Nama Rupa Parikshita Jnana and Picha Briga Jnana. And full understanding the all. This is number two. Full understanding as investigating Tirana Prajna. This is Sammasana Jnana and Udyabhya Jnana. Full understanding by developing this passion towards it and abandoning it. This is referring the full understanding as abandoning Vahana Prajna. So, one practicing Vipassana, if the meditator do not understand all mentality, all materiality and their causes by 3 types of full understanding, one cannot escape from the round of rebirth. One cannot realize Nirvana. This is the Buddha's teaching. This is very important. So if you want to practice Vipassana, you must try to understand all mentality as well as all materiality and their causes. Then you must, all materiality, all mentality and their causes are called Sankhara formations. These Sankhara formations are the object of Vipassana. You must contemplate them as anicca. Why? As long as they arise, they perish away, they pass away. So they are anicca and permanent. They are always oppressed by rising and passing away, so they are dukkha, suffering. There is no permanent entity, permanent substance, and then so they are anatta, no self. Such type of contemplation is called Vipassana. So, if you want to practice real Vipassana, then you must try to understand ultimate materiality, ultimate mentality, and their causes. Not partially, all ultimate materiality, all ultimate mentality, and their causes. Because of this reason, the Attha Salini commentary, this is first commentary in Vijama, explains the meaning of Vipassana. Anicchati Vasena Vividehi Agarehi Dhamme Passaditi Vipassana. The insight knowledge which contemplates all mentality, all materiality and their causes as nature, impermanent, suffering, as dukkha, suffering, as anatta, no self. Such type of contemplation is called Vipassana. So if you want to practice Vipassana, number one, you should have enough. You must understand ultimate materiality as well as ultimate mentality. Then you must try to understand by your own direct knowledge their causes. Without understanding ultimate materiality, without understanding ultimate mentality, without understanding their causes, If you practice vipassana, that vipassana is just superficial only, not real vipassana. If you want to practice real vipassana, there is one important thing. What is this? Samadhi bhikkhu bhaveta samadhi to bhikkhu yatha buddham bhajanati. Bhikkhus develop concentration. A bhikkhu who has concentrated mind understands the Dhammas as they really are. This is the Buddha's teaching in the Sitya Sanyutta Samadhi Sutta. So, what does he understand as it really is? He understands as it really is. This is the noble truth of suffering, dukkha, Sitya. He understands as it really is. This is the noble truth of the origin of suffering, samudaya, Sitya. He understands as it really is. This is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering, nirodha, Sitya. He understands as it really is. This is the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Dukkha nirodha gamini patipada ariya seja. So, for realizing of Four Noble Truth, you should have enough concentration. Without concentrated mind, if you practice to understand Four Noble Truth, it is impossible. Why? The concentrated mind can produce strong, powerful light. That light is called light of wisdom. With the assistance of the light of wisdom, if you try to understand ultimate materiality, ultimate mentality and their causes by your own direct knowledge, it is possible. If there is no the light of wisdom, if you practice to understand ultimate materiality, ultimate mentality and their causes by your own direct knowledge, it is impossible. Because of this reason, what is the noble truth of suffering? Sankhedina Pinchu Padana Khanda Dukkha. In brief, five aggregates of clinging are called the noble truth of suffering. What are five clinging aggregates? The clinging aggregate of materiality, the clinging aggregate of feeling, the clinging aggregate of perception, the clinging aggregate of formations, and the clinging aggregate of consciousness. Altogether there are five aggregates. The clinging aggregate of materiality is materiality, rupa. The clinging aggregate of feeling, the clinging aggregate of perception, the clinging aggregate of formations, and the clinging aggregate of consciousness. These four clinging aggregates are called mentality. So five aggregates and mentality and materiality are same. They have same meaning. So if you want to understand ultimate mentality and ultimate materiality, you should have enough concentration. Without concentrated mind, if you try to understand ultimate materiality and ultimate mentality, it is impossible. Then the second noble truth is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. In brief, this is the dependent origination. If we summarize the dependent origination, there are five causes and five effects only. Five causes are ignorance, craving, avijja, craving, tanha, clinging, upadana, volitional formations, sankhara, and karma. Altogether, these five causes are called the noble truth of the origin of suffering, samudaya, Sitya. Because of the rising of samudaya, Sitya, dukkha, Sitya arise. Samudaya, Sitya is cause, dukkha, Sitya is effect. Because of the samudaya, Sitya, dukkha, Sitya arise. Then dukkha, Sitya must be preceding or succeeding. Samudaya Chitta must be preceding or succeeding. How do you think? Because of this cause, this effect arises. Cause must be preceding. Effect must be succeeding. Do you understand? So, if we investigate our body is composed of mentality and materiality only. According to Buddha's teaching, materiality is a group of subatomic particles only. But these particles are not ultimate materiality. If you can analyze those clusters, in each cluster at least there are 8 types of materiality, such as earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, color, odor, flavor, and nutritive acid. In some clusters, together with light faculty, Jivita, there are 9 types of materiality. In some clusters, together with translucent element, Pasada Rupa, or sex-determining materiality, Bhava Rupa, or heart face. Altogether, there are 10 types of materiality. Without seeing clusters, subatomic particles, you cannot analyze those. Without analyzing those clusters, you cannot understand ultimate materiality by your own direct knowledge. So, because of this reason, in every city, please re-establish your Anapana 4th chana or any samatha 4th chana, no problem. If you have already practiced 10 kasinas in 8 attainments, then you can re-establish this 4th chana taking one of the kasina objects. As long as you emerge from these 10 kasina objects, then you can practice vipassana. How you should practice? There is procedure. Buddha taught in Mahasiprana Sutta systematically. So please try to see page number 8. The Buddha teaches insight meditation as follows. Insight meditation, this is first stage. In this way, a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body in the body internally, or abides contemplating the body in the body externally, or abides contemplating the body in the body both internally and externally. In the Patisambhita Magga, page number 183, the Venerable Sariputta says, body, kaya, is both the mental body and the material body. Nama kaya and rupa kaya. Here body means group. Mentality and materiality never arise as a single dhamma. Mentality and materiality always arise as a group. That group is called body, kaya. Because of this, the meditator must contemplate all mentality and materiality both internally and externally, and while training thus, he must discern materiality both internally and externally. Discern mentality both internally and externally, including the 4 types of Anapana jhana dhammas, because they are included in mentality. Discern mentality and materiality together, both internally and externally, and define mentality and materiality both internally and externally. So in this case, many meditators misunderstand about the body. This is Kayanupassana. Many meditators think Buddha teaches only materiality in Kayanupassana. But Venerable Sariputta explains here, kaya, body means 2 types of kaya. material body and mental body. Why? I had already explained before. Without understanding by three types of full understanding or mentality, material and their causes, you cannot escape from the round of rebirth. You cannot realize Nibbana. This is Buddha's teaching. Because of this reason, Venerable Sariputta explained in this case. In this case, Kaya means not only materiality body, but also mental body also. Why? Without understanding all mentality and materiality, by three types of full understanding, you cannot escape from the downward rebirth. This is the Buddha's teaching. Because of this reason, Venerable Sariputta explained, in this case, you must try to understand all mentality and all materiality. This is number one. These four types of knowledge are called the knowledge of defining mentality and materiality. Nama, Rupa, Paricheta, Jnana. Please try to see 60 types of knowledge, page 25-26. How to develop materiality meditation. In Samatha, there are 40 Samatha meditation subjects. However, in Vipassana, there are only 2 meditation subjects. Materiality meditation, Rupa Kamatthana, and mentality meditation, Arupa Kamatthana. While expounding materiality meditation, the Buddha always teaches 4 element meditation. 4 elements meditation, plural form. In brief or in details. Now we would like to discuss about the 4 element meditation in brief way. The Buddha taught the brief method in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. A bhikkhu reviews this very body, however it be placed or disposed, as consisting of just elements. Thus there are in this body just the earth element, the water element, the fire element, and the wind element. What is the earth element? Hardness, roughness, heaviness, softness, smoothness, lightness. This is earth element. What is water element? Flowing in cohesion. What is fire element? Heat and cold. What is wind element? Supporting in position. So altogether, how many characteristics are there? 12 characteristics. To develop, so if you want to understand ultimate materiality, how you should practice? How you should begin? 4 elements meditation. Without practicing 4 elements meditation, you cannot understand ultimate materiality. So if you want to understand ultimate materiality, you must obey the Buddha's instruction. Buddha always instructs for clear understanding of ultimate materiality, 4 elements meditation, in brief or in detail. So if you want to understand ultimate materiality, you must try to practice 4 elements meditation. Without practicing 4 elements meditation systematically, if you try to understand ultimate materiality, it is impossible. Do you have enough faith in the Buddha? Do you have? Yes, if you have enough faith in the Buddha as well as his teaching, then you must obey his teaching. Do you want to obey? This is very important. Without practicing 4 elements meditation systematically, you cannot understand ultimate materiality. Nowadays, many meditators, they do not practice systematically 4 elements meditation. Therefore, they do not understand ultimate materiality. At that time, what is their opinion? They say the Buddha teaches this ultimate materiality, ultimate mentality, this nama rupa, and towering the deva war only. For devas only, not for human beings. This is their argument. According to their argument, if we summarize their argument, then the noble truth of suffering, this is ultimate mentality and materiality, practically we say. So, human, there are also human noble ones, like Venerable Kundinya, Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Mahamoggallana, etc. They also penetrate Four Noble Truths. While penetrating these Four Noble Truths, they also penetrate the Noble Truth of suffering, that is the five clinging aggregate of materiality, feeling, perception, volition, information, and consciousness. They penetrate five aggregates. This is the Noble Truth of suffering. What are five aggregates? Mentality and materiality. Then devas, there are also noble ones in the Deva world as well as in the Brahma world. These devas and Brahmas also penetrate Four Noble Truths. Among Four Noble Truths, there is number one is the Noble Truth of suffering, dukkha, sitya. So devas also penetrate dukkha, sitya. Human beings, noble ones also penetrate dukkha, sitya. So, whether these two types of noble truth are same or different, how do you think? While expounding first some more, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, sudden emotion of the wheel of Dhamma. At the end of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Venerable Kundinya penetrates Four Noble Truths. In the same way, 80 billion Brahmas also penetrate Four Noble Truths. Asankhya, uncountable devas also penetrate Four Noble Truths. Are they same Four Noble Truths or different Four Noble Truths? Same Four Noble Truths, because Sutta is same Sutta, only one Sutta. Which is Sutta? Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So same meaning. So devas also penetrate these Four Noble Truths. Brahmas also penetrate these Four Noble Truths. Venerable Kundinya also penetrate these Four Noble Truths. So they have same meaning, no different meaning. According to their opinion, Buddha teaches this mentality, materiality, nama rupa, and deva world only. In human world, Buddha never teach this nama rupa. This is their argument. According to their argument, Venerable Kundinya also penetrate the Noble Truth of suffering, dukkha, sitya. Brahmas and devas also penetrate the Noble Truth of suffering, dukkha, sitya. So they have difference. They must have difference. Do you understand? So, because of this reason, if you do not practice four elements meditation systematically, you cannot understand ultimate materiality. So if you want to understand ultimate materiality, then you must practice four elements meditation systematically. To develop this meditation, he must learn how to discern each of the 12 characteristics, one at a time. Usually the beginner is first taught the characteristics easier to discern, and later the more difficult ones. They are usually taught in this order: pushing, hardness, roughness, heaviness; suboding, softness, smoothness, lightness; heat, coldness; cohesion, flowing. Each characteristic must be discerned in first one place in the body and then throughout the body. For example, pushing. If you want to understand pushing, while breathing in, your breath push and go into the head. You can follow now in this way. Then you can understand pushing. If you see pushing inside your head, then you should try to descend pushing inside the whole head. Then you should try to descend throughout your body. So from one place to another, you should try to follow all throughout the body. You should try to understand pushing. In the same way, hardness, roughness, heaviness, softness, softness, smoothness, lightness, heat, coldness, and then cohesion and flowing. So these 12 characteristics you should try to descend throughout your body one by one. When he can descend these 12 characteristics one by one throughout his body, very, very quickly, then he should descend the 4 elements in sequence. That is the sequence taught by the Buddha. Earth, water, fire, and wind. What is earth? Hardness, roughness, heaviness, softness, smoothness, lightness. What is water? Flowing, cohesion. What is fire? Heat and cold. What is wind? Supporting and pushing. So according to this procedure, you must try. In other words, that sequence should be as hardness, roughness, heaviness, softness, smoothness, lightness, flowing, cohesion, heat, cold, supporting, and pushing. Why? For beginners to understand flowing is not easy. Cohesion also not easy. Cohesion means they combine 3 elements together. Without understanding 3 elements, that is earth element, wind element, earth element, fire element, and wind element, then you cannot understand this cohesion as well as flowing. Because of this reason, this are 4 elements. Water element is very difficult to discern for beginners. Because of this reason, from easy to difficult, we teach this system. If you can discern every characteristic throughout your body, then you must change the sequence according to taught by the Buddha. According to the Buddha's teaching, according to the sequence, if he can discern them very, very quickly, his body, one by one, in his body, one by one, in general, then he will see many or all characteristics together. At that time, it is usually best to take the overview as if he were looking at behind his shoulder. It can also be done as if looking from above his head down. Although this may lead to tension and imbalance of the elements. If it is so, then he must try to make them balance, seeing opposite characteristics. For example, when hardness is very strong, he should emphasize softness and so on. So there are two characteristics. Hardness and softness, this is one pair. Roughness and smoothness, this is one pair. Then heaviness and lightness, this is one pair. If hardness is very strong, you should emphasize softness. When roughness is very strong, you should emphasize smoothness. When heaviness is very strong, you should emphasize lightness. In the same way, when cohesion is very strong, you should try to emphasize flowing. When flowing is very strong, you should emphasize cohesion. In the same way, when heat is very strong in your body, then you can emphasize coldness. When your body becomes very cold, at that time you can emphasize heat. Then, when supporting is very strong, you can emphasize pushing. When pushing is very strong, you can emphasize supporting. However, for some meditators, pushing is very strong. Although they may pay attention supporting, but pushing is still very strong. At the time, when one paper, because of wind, shaking on the table, how you should try? You should put heavy thing on the paper, then paper will become stable. In the same way, at that time, when pushing is very strong, you can emphasize hardness, roughness, heaviness. Then pushing will become less. This is natural. So because of this reason, we teach all 12 characteristics according to the system of Dhamma Sangani, Abhidhamma number 1 book. In Dhamma Sangani book that mentions this system. According to the Dhamma Sangani system, we teach 12 characteristics. However, in many sutras, Buddha teach in earth element only 2, hardness and roughness only. Why? Maybe you can say this is very soft. But if you touch thoroughly, then you can feel there is little bit hardness. Is it true? So, very strong, powerful hardness is called hardness. Less hardness is called softness only. So because of this reason, many sutras Buddha teach only 2. However, in Deva world, the listeners, they have different idea because their body is very gentle, very subtle. Because of this reason, if Buddha teaches hardness, roughness, or hardness, smoothness, hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness, heaviness and lightness, in this way, if the Buddha teaches, they will understand very clearly why their body is very gentle and very subtle. According to the listeners' characteristics, Buddha teach 6 characteristics in earth element, 2 characteristics in water element, 2 characteristics in fire element, and 2 characteristics in wind element. So you must try to discern these 12 characteristics. If he sees all 12 characteristics nearly simultaneously, then he can change into 4 groups: earth, water, fire, and wind. At that time, he must try to see each and every characteristic clearly, and taking these characteristics as object, he must develop his concentration on those 4 element objects. As he continues to develop concentration on the 4 elements and approach access concentration, Upachara Samadhi, he will see different kinds of light. So you must concentrate on your 4 elements object. But if you want to note, you can note earth, water, fire, wind. Earth, water, fire, wind. Heat, soil, hua, ho. Okay? So you should try this repeat again. Please concentrate on that 4 elements object. When concentration becomes deeper and deeper, then the light of wisdom appears. This is because concentrated mind can produce light. What is the light of wisdom? You penetrate 4 elements now. This is the penetrative knowledge. This is wisdom faculty. When this wisdom faculty becomes powerful, the light of wisdom appears. What is the light of wisdom? Every consciousness which arises dependent on your heart base can produce mind-born kalabas, mind-born materiality. One mind movement can produce uncountable kalabas, subatomic particles. If you analyze those kalabas, in each kalabas there are 8 types of materiality, such as earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, color, odor, flavor, and nutritive acid. Oh, is it true? Okay, so there is color. One kalabas color and another kalabas color combined together became a light of wisdom because this color became very bright, depending on the power of wisdom faculty. When wisdom faculty is very sharp, the light of wisdom is very bright. Why wisdom faculty became sharp? Depending on concentration. The concentrated mind can produce strong, powerful wisdom faculty. Samahito Yatha Buddha Jhanati Pasati. This is the Buddha's teaching. The concentrated mind understands the Dhamma as it really is. When the wisdom faculty is becoming powerful because of concentration, then that wisdom faculty produces uncountable mind-born kalabas. Among those kalabas, the color became very bright, depending on wisdom faculty. This is one reason. Then there, in each kalabas, in each mind-born kalabas, there is fire element, tejo. That fire element also can produce new kalabas. When concentration is very strong and wisdom faculty also becomes very powerful. At that time, that wisdom faculty, that fire element is called tejo, udu, temperature. That temperature can produce uncountable subatomic particles, not only internally but also up to externally. Because of this reason, in those kalabas, there is also color, that color also becomes bright. That color also becomes bright. So that color, that brightness, not only internally but also externally. Because of this reason, many meditators see light of wisdom here, etc. Actually, when concentration becomes deep and the light of wisdom is everywhere surrounding a meditator's body. For some meditators, this light of wisdom goes very far away. For some meditators, only within one room or maybe within few inches of you, within one room or maybe two rooms or one building, two buildings, etc. Depending on concentration. When concentration is very deep, light of wisdom, and the power of wisdom faculty also very, very deep. At that time, with very strong, powerful wisdom faculty can produce very strong, powerful light. The combination of these two types of kalapa, mind-born kalapa, the color of mind-born kalapa as well as the color of temperature-born kalapa, these two types of kalapas color became the light of wisdom. So, with the assistance of that light of wisdom, you must continue to practice four elements meditation. So, as he continues to develop concentration on the four elements and approach excess concentration, he will see different kinds of light. To some yogis, it is a smoky grey light. If he continues to concentrate on the four elements and that grey light, it will become whiter like cotton wool, and then bright white like clouds, and his whole body will appear as a white foam. As he continues to concentrate on the four elements and the white foam, it will eventually become transparent like a block of ice or glass. This translucent materiality is the five translucencies pasada. The body, eye, ear, nose, and tongue translucencies. The body transparency is Body translucency is found throughout the body in all six sense bases, which is why his whole body appears translucent. Not transparent, it's translucent. He sees the translucency as one translucent form or block. Because he has not yet seen through the three kinds of compactness, compactness of continuity, sanctity, of guru, samuha, and of function, kiksha. That translucent body is a group of 5 pasada rupa. Pasada rupa is here, eye, translucent element, ear, translucent element, nose, translucent element, tongue, translucent element, body, translucent element. So there are 5 pasada rupa, translucent materiality. While practicing 4 elements meditation, before you are seeing kalapas, at that time you can see the whole body like ice block, translucent body. In that translucent body, with the assistance of light of wisdom, if you focus space element, according to the Buddha's teaching in Maha Rahula Vada Sutta, Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, etc. So you can see subatomic particles called kalapas. What is space element? Space element is kalapantara paricheta rupa. To delineate one kalapa and another kalapa. Not to mix together. To distinguish one kalapa and another kalapa. In other words, this is the boundary of kalapas. You should try to see this space element. As long as you see this space element, then you can see kalapas. In this case, many Westerners, they criticize a lot. Buddha never teach kalapas to see. In suttas, but Buddha does not teach by the name of kalapa. It is true in many suttas. However, Buddha teaches in Maharaulo Vada Sutta, Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, and Viduma Dhatu Vibhanga to see space element. In the same way, Venerable Sariputta also teaches in his Mahahadi Prabhava Sutta to see this space element. If you see the boundary of kalapas, you will see also kalapa. So they have same meaning. As long as you do not yet see the boundary of kalapas, this is space element, you cannot see kalapas. If you cannot see kalapas, you cannot analyze those kalapas. If you cannot analyze those kalapas, you cannot understand ultimate materiality. If you analyze these kalapas, at that time only you will understand ultimate materiality such as earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, color, odor, flavor, and nutritive acid. They are ultimate materiality. However, they are impermanent ultimate materiality, not permanent. As long as they arise, they pass away very, very quickly. But you must try to see this impermanent nature. Why? At that time only you will understand suffering and non-self characteristics. If you see impermanent characteristics, then you can see suffering characteristics, dukkha lakkhana. As long as they arise, they pass away, so they are impermanent. They are always upright, rising in passing away, so they are dukkha, suffering. Again, if you try to see this ultimate materiality, as long as they arise, they pass away. Because of this reason, there is no permanent entity, permanent substance, or permanent self. So they are another, no self. At that time only you will understand these 3 types of characteristics: anicca, dukkha, and anatta. This is the beginning stage of Vipassana only. But at this stage, you should not try to contemplate this ultimate materiality as nature, dukkha, and anatta, because your work is not yet finished. So you must continue.